Let's be honest, walking through the grocery store lately feels a bit like walking through a minefield for your wallet. Inflation is still hitting us hard, and it seems like every time you go to check out, the total is just a little bit higher than the last time. It's frustrating, and it feels like there's not much we can do about it. But what if I told you that a significant portion of that extra cost isn't just inflation, but something I like to call the convenience tax? Grocery stores are masters at charging a premium for items that save you a few minutes of prep time. And these small markups add up to a staggering amount over time. The reality is, smart shoppers, the ones who consistently keep their grocery bills low without sacrificing quality, have a secret. They know which items are ridiculously overpriced and simply refuse to buy them. By strategically avoiding these convenience traps, you could be saving anywhere from $1,000 to over $2,000 a year. Imagine what you could do with an extra $2,000 in your bank account. That could be a vacation, a significant boost to your savings, or a big step towards paying off debt. It's not about extreme couponing or depriving yourself, it's about making smarter choices. So in this video, we're going to break down the top 12 grocery items that financially intelligent people almost never buy. I'm going to show you exactly why they're a waste of money, how much you're really paying for that convenience, and what you should be buying instead. By the end of this, you'll have a clear roadmap to slash your grocery bill without feeling like you're making huge sacrifices. So, grab a notepad, because you're going to want to remember these. Let's get into it. Alright, let's start with one of the most tempting and overpriced items in the entire grocery store: pre-cut fruits and vegetables. You see them shining under the lights in those clear plastic containers. Perfectly cubed melon, sliced bell peppers, ready-to-go broccoli florets. It seems so easy, right? You can just grab it and go, saving yourself maybe 5 or 10 minutes of chopping when you get home. It's the ultimate convenience, especially after a long day when the last thing you want to do is stand at the counter with a knife. But here's the cold, hard truth you need to hear. You are paying an insane premium for that convenience. We're not talking about a small markup here. In most cases, pre-cut produce is marked up by 100 to 300% compared to its whole, untouched counterpart. That container of sliced red onions? It probably costs the same as a whole bag of onions that would last you for weeks. That little fruit cup with a mix of cantaloupe and pineapple? You could have bought a whole cantaloupe and a whole pineapple for the same price, or even less. Think about it this way. You're essentially paying someone else a very high hourly wage to do a few minutes of basic chopping. If you calculated the cost difference over a year, you could be spending hundreds of extra dollars just for someone else to wield a knife for you. Not only that, but pre-cut produce has more surface area exposed to air, which means it loses nutrients, like vitamin C, much faster. It also has a shorter shelf life, so you're more likely to throw it away if you don't use it immediately, wasting even more money. The smart move here is painfully simple but incredibly effective. Buy your fruits and vegetables whole. Invest 10 to 15 minutes once or twice a week to do your own prep work. You can wash and chop your veggies for the next few days and store them in airtight containers in the fridge. This is called batch prepping, and it gives you the same convenience as the pre-cut stuff, but at a fraction of the cost. For fruits like berries or bananas that you use in smoothies, buy them whole, or even better, buy them frozen. Frozen produce is picked at peak ripeness and flash frozen, locking in the nutrients, and it's almost always cheaper than fresh, especially for out-of-season items. So, the next time you're tempted by that perfectly arranged container of sliced mushrooms, I want you to pause and look at the price of a package of whole mushrooms right next to it. See the difference, and remind yourself that 5 minutes of your time is not worth paying double or triple the price. Your bank account will thank you for making the switch, and honestly, the produce will taste fresher and last longer. It's a simple change that makes a massive financial impact over time. Coming in at number 2 is another major convenience tax offender that's hiding in plain sight in the dairy aisle: pre-shredded cheese. I get it, shredding a block of cheese can be a little bit of a chore. Your knuckles might get scraped, the grater is annoying to clean, and grabbing a bag of perfectly shredded cheddar is just so much faster when you're making tacos or a casserole. The packaging even promises quick and easy meals, and they are not wrong about that. But what they don't advertise on the front of the bag is what you're really paying for, and what's really inside. First, let's talk about the price. Just like with pre-cut produce, you are paying a significant markup for the convenience of not having to shred it yourself. A block of cheddar cheese is almost always cheaper per ounce than its shredded counterpart. That extra $1 or $2 per bag might not seem like much, But if you're a cheese-loving family like mine, that can easily add up to $50 or $100 over a year, just on cheese alone. Now, let's talk about what else is in that bag besides cheese. Have you ever wondered why the shreds in the bag don't clump together into one giant cheese ball? It's because manufacturers coat the cheese shreds with anti-caking agents like potato starch, powdered cellulose, and natamycin. Yes, you heard that right. Powdered cellulose is essentially wood pulp. While it's considered safe to eat, it's a filler that you're paying for. These additives also affect the way the cheese melts. It can become grainy or oily, and it just doesn't have that same creamy, smooth melt you get from a freshly shredded block. The solution is, once again, incredibly simple. Buy the block. A block of cheese will not only save you money but also give you a superior product. It tastes better, it melts better, and it contains just one ingredient: cheese. You don't need a fancy, expensive box grater. A simple handheld one works just fine. Or, if you have a food processor with a shredding attachment, you can shred an entire block in literally 10 seconds. You can shred what you need for a recipe, or shred the whole block at once and store it in a zip-top bag in your fridge. So, let this be a call to action to break up with the bag. The next time you're at the store, do a quick price per ounce comparison between the block and the bag. The numbers will speak for themselves. You're getting a purer, better tasting, better melting product for less money. All it costs you is about 30 seconds of your time with a grater. For the improved quality of your mac and cheese alone, it's a trade-off that is absolutely worth it. Okay, let's talk about an item that has one of the most astronomical markups in the entire grocery store: bottled water. We see it everywhere. Cases of it stacked to the ceiling, single bottles in coolers by the checkout. It's marketed as pure, clean, and convenient. And while it's definitely convenient to grab a bottle on the go, the cost you're paying for that convenience is, frankly, insane. You are paying for a plastic bottle and a label, not a superior product. Let's break down the numbers because they are truly staggering. Tap water in the United States costs, on average, about 0.2 cents per gallon. Bottled water, even when you buy it in a cheap bulk case, can cost anywhere from $1 to $4 per gallon. That is a markup of anywhere from 500 to 2,000 times the cost of what comes out of your faucet. And if you're buying single bottles from a convenience store or vending machine, the markup can be even more astronomical. You're essentially paying restaurant prices for something you can get for nearly free at home. And here's the kicker. In many cases, bottled water is just filtered tap water. A study by the Food and Water Watch found that nearly half of all bottled water is derived from municipal tap water sources. Companies like Aquafina and Dasani are open about this. They take city water, put it through a filtration process, bottle it, and sell it back to you at a massive premium. So you're paying thousands of times more for something that is often not significantly different from what you already have access to. The financially intelligent alternative here is a game changer for both your wallet and the environment. The first and most obvious step is to get a reusable water bottle. This is a one-time purchase that will save you hundreds of dollars over its lifetime. If you're concerned about the taste or quality of your tap water, invest in a simple water filter. A basic Brita or per pitcher filter costs around $20 to $30, and the filters, which last for months, break down to just a few cents per gallon. For even better filtration, you can install an under-sink filter. And for those of you who love sparkling water, stop buying those expensive cases of La Croix or Bubbly. A machine like a SodaStream might seem like a big upfront investment at around $100, but the CO2 canisters can carbonate up to 60 liters of water, bringing your cost per liter down to just a few cents. You can add your own natural flavors with a squeeze of lemon, lime, or a splash of fruit juice. The savings are massive, you create zero plastic waste, and you have sparkling water on demand. It's a win-win-win. Let's move on to the breakfast aisle, a section of the grocery store that is notorious for high markups and clever marketing, especially when it comes to name-brand cereals and other breakfast items. That colorful box of Cheerios, Frosted Flakes, or Cinnamon Toast Crunch might bring back fond childhood memories, but it's also taking a significant bite out of your budget. The big brands spend millions upon millions of dollars on advertising, celebrity endorsements, and cartoon characters to build brand loyalty, and you are the one who pays for it at the checkout. The price difference between name-brand cereals and their store-brand equivalents is often shocking when you actually stop to compare them. In many cases, the store-brand version, which often comes in a less exciting bag or a simpler box, can be 30 to 50% cheaper. You might be paying $5.50 for a box of Honey Nut Cheerios, while the store's Honey Nut Toasted Oats right next to it is only $2.99. And here's the secret the big brands don't want you to know. They are often made in the very same factory. Take a moment to compare the ingredient lists and nutritional information. You will almost always find that they are virtually identical. The same vitamins, the same minerals, the same amount of sugar. You are literally paying an extra $2 or $3 for the box art and the brand name. That extra cost, multiplied by a box or two every week, can easily add up to hundreds of dollars a year that you're spending for absolutely no reason. The same logic applies to name brand oatmeal packets, pancake mixes, and frozen waffles. The store brand is almost always a smarter financial choice. But to take your savings to the next level, the most financially savvy people often skip the cereal aisle altogether. The cheapest and healthiest breakfast options are the ones you make yourself from basic ingredients. A large canister of plain rolled oats costs a few dollars and can provide dozens of breakfasts. You can customize it with fruit, nuts, or a little bit of honey. This is infinitely cheaper and healthier than those single-serving oatmeal packets that are loaded with sugar and artificial flavors. Similarly, making your own pancakes or waffles from scratch using flour, eggs, and milk is incredibly inexpensive and easy. You can make a big batch on the weekend and freeze the extras for quick weekday breakfasts. They'll be just as convenient as the frozen toaster waffles, but will cost a fraction of the price and won't be filled with preservatives. So, challenge yourself to look past the flashy boxes and start your day with a breakfast that fuels you without draining your bank account. Next up, let's tackle the snack aisle. This is where convenience culture really hits your wallet hard. I'm talking about pre-packaged snacks, the individual bags of chips, the perfectly portioned trail mix packs, the single-serve granola bars. They are designed for our grab-and-go lifestyle, making it easy to toss a snack in a lunchbox or a gym bag. But this convenience comes at a cost that is often hidden in the small packaging and seemingly low price point. Take a look at trail mix, for example. A pre-made bag from a popular brand can be surprisingly expensive. But what is it really? It's just a mix of nuts, seeds, and dried fruit. All items you can buy separately in the bulk food section for a much lower price per ounce. By buying the ingredients, almonds, peanuts, raisins, sunflower seeds, maybe some chocolate chips, in bulk and mixing them yourself, you can create your own custom trail mix for a fraction of the cost. You control the ingredients, so you can make it healthier and exactly to your liking. The same principle applies to granola bars. A box of 8 or 10 bars can easily cost you $4 to $6, which works out to 50 or 60 cents per bar, or even more for the protein-heavy ones. But if you look at the ingredients, it's mostly just oats, honey, and some nuts or dried fruit. You can make a huge tray of your own homemade granola bars with those same simple ingredients for the price of one box of the pre-made stuff. Plus, you get to control the sugar content, which is often shockingly high in commercial granola bars. And let's not forget the classic variety pack of chips. It seems like a good deal, offering a little something for everyone. But do the math on the price per ounce. You are paying a massive premium for those tiny individual-sized bags. It is always, and I mean always, cheaper to buy a large, family-sized bag of chips and portion it out yourself into reusable snack bags or small containers. It takes an extra 30 seconds, but the savings are significant over time, and it produces far less packaging waste. The bottom line for snacks is this: you are paying for packaging and portioning. The food industry knows that people will pay more for convenience, and the snack aisle is their playground. By shifting your mindset from buying snacks to buying snack ingredients, you can take back control of your budget and your health. Spend a little time on a Sunday afternoon making your own snack packs for the week. It's a small habit that will lead to some of the biggest and most immediate savings on your grocery bill. Ah, the grocery store bakery. The smell of fresh bread and warm cookies is deliberately piped through the store to lure you in. It's a powerful marketing tactic, and it works. You see those beautifully decorated cakes, those perfectly uniform muffins, and those giant cookies, and it's hard to resist. It feels like a special treat, and it's certainly easier than baking it yourself. But before you put that plastic domed cake in your cart, you need to understand the economics of what you're buying. The markup on in-store bakery items is nothing short of astronomical. We're talking markups of 200 to 300%, or even higher, over the cost of the raw ingredients. That $15 sheet cake? The ingredients, flour, sugar, eggs, oil, frosting, probably cost the store less than $4. That 6-pack of muffins for $5? You could make a dozen at home for about $2. You are paying for the labor, the packaging, and the store's significant profit margin. And let's be real about the quality. While they might smell amazing, many of these freshly baked items aren't made from scratch in the store. They often arrive frozen and are simply baked or thawed and decorated on site. The ingredients used are typically the cheapest possible to maximize profit, often involving shortenings, preservatives, and artificial flavors to ensure a long shelf life under the display lights. You're not getting the wholesome homemade quality that the smell might imply. The most financially savvy move is, of course, to bake at home. Baking doesn't have to be a complicated all-day affair. A simple box of cake mix or brownie mix costs about $1 or $2 and can produce a dessert that's just as good, if not better, than the store-bought version. If you want to go a step further, making things from scratch is even cheaper. Basic ingredients like flour, sugar, and cocoa powder are pantry staples that are incredibly inexpensive when you break down the cost per recipe. However, I know that sometimes you just don't have the time or energy to bake. So here's a pro tip for when you still want that bakery treat without the bakery price tag. Check for the discount rack. Most grocery store bakeries have a day-old section where they sell items from the previous day for 50% off or more. There is absolutely nothing wrong with these items. A day-old baguette is perfect for making croutons or crostini, and those muffins or cookies are still perfectly delicious. It's the ultimate way to get the convenience and the treat without paying the full inflated price. In our quest for healthier eating, many of us turn to salads. And what could be easier than a pre-made salad kit or a tub of dressing from the grocery store? The bag of chopped lettuce with little packets of croutons, cheese, and dressing seems like the perfect, no-fuss solution for a quick lunch or a healthy dinner side. But honestly, this convenience is one of the biggest money wasters in the produce section. And it's not as healthy as you might think. Let's start with the salad kits. You're getting a bag of, let's be honest, mostly inexpensive iceberg or romaine lettuce, a tiny sprinkle of cheese, a few croutons, and a packet of dressing. These kits can easily cost $4 to $5. For that same price, you could buy a whole head of romaine lettuce, a block of Parmesan cheese, and a bag of croutons, and have enough ingredients to make 4 or 5 salads of the same size. You are paying an enormous premium for the assembly and the packaging. Then there's the salad dressing. A bottle of brand name dressing can cost anywhere from $3 to $6. Take a look at the ingredient list. The first ingredient is often water, oil, or high fructose corn syrup. They are also typically loaded with sodium, sugar, preservatives, and artificial flavors to make them shelf-stable. You're paying a lot for a bottle of mostly cheap oil, sugar, and chemicals. It kind of defeats the purpose of eating a healthy salad in the first place. The smart and healthy alternative is to assemble your own salads and make your own dressing. It sounds intimidating, but it's incredibly simple. You can wash and chop a head of lettuce or a bunch of kale at the beginning of the week and store it in the fridge. Buy your favorite toppings like nuts, seeds, or chickpeas in larger quantities. This salad bar setup in your own fridge makes assembling a fresh salad just as fast as opening a kit. As for the dressing, making your own is a total game changer. A basic vinaigrette is just 3 parts oil to 1 part vinegar, plus a little salt, pepper, and maybe some mustard or honey. That's it. You can shake it up in a mason jar in 30 seconds, and it will be fresher, healthier, and vastly cheaper than anything you can buy in a bottle. You can make a new flavor every week. Once you start making your own dressings, you'll never go back to the bottled stuff. It's a simple switch that elevates your salads and saves you a surprising amount of money. Let's head over to the canned goods aisle and talk about a pantry staple: beans. Canned beans are incredibly convenient. You just pop the top, rinse them, and they're ready to be added to chili, salads, or tacos. They're also relatively inexpensive, usually costing around $1 or $2 per can. Because they're already cheap, most people don't think twice about buying them. But what if I told you there's a way to get the same product for a fraction of the cost? The secret lies right next to the canned beans, in the form of dried beans. A 1-pound bag of dried black beans or chickpeas often costs the same as, or even less than, a single can of beans. But here's the crucial difference. That 1-pound bag of dried beans will yield the equivalent of about 5 or 6 cans of cooked beans once you rehydrate and cook them. The cost savings are massive. You're looking at paying about 70 to 80% less for the exact same food. Now, I know what you're thinking, but cooking dried beans takes forever. And yes, it does require some planning, but it's not nearly as labor-intensive as you might think. The standard method is to soak the beans overnight in water. The next day you just drain them, add fresh water, and let them simmer on the stove for an hour or two while you're doing other things around the house. It's mostly hands-off time. For those who want an even easier method, a slow cooker or an instant pot is your best friend. With a slow cooker, you can just dump the beans and water in before you leave for work and come home to perfectly cooked beans. An instant pot or other pressure cooker can cook most beans from dry to done in under an hour, with no soaking required. This completely eliminates the time barrier that stops most people from using dried beans. Once they're cooked, you can use them right away or portion them into freezer-safe bags or containers. You can freeze them in 1.5 cup portions, which is roughly the amount in 1 can. Then, you just pull a bag from the freezer when you need it. You get all the convenience of canned beans at the rock-bottom price of dried beans. Plus, you get to control the sodium content, as canned beans are often packed in a salty brine. It's a small bit of prep that can save you a surprising amount of money on a staple you probably use all the time. For millions of us, the day doesn't officially start until we've had our coffee. But how you get that morning caffeine fix can have a dramatic impact on your finances. One of the biggest modern money drains in this category is the single-serve coffee pod, like Keurig K-Cups. They are the epitome of convenience. Pop in a pod, press a button, and you have a hot cup of coffee in under a minute with zero cleanup. It's brilliant, but that brilliance comes at an extremely high price. When you break down the cost per cup, coffee pods are one of the most expensive ways to make coffee at home. A box of 12 K-Cups might cost you $9, which works out to 75 cents per cup. That might not sound like a lot, but compare it to buying a bag of ground coffee. A standard 12-ounce bag of coffee for $10 can make about 40 to 50 cups of coffee, bringing your cost per cup down to about 20 to 25 cents. Over a year, a daily coffee pod habit could cost you $200 more than brewing it the old-fashioned way, and that's just the pods. Let's talk about the other coffee convenience trap: bottled iced coffee and cold brew from the grocery store. A single bottle can cost you $3 to $4. You're paying coffee shop prices for a product you can easily make at home for pennies. A large jug of pre-made cold brew concentrate can be even more expensive per serving. It's a massive markup for what is essentially just coffee and water. The financially intelligent path is to become your own barista. If you love the convenience of a pod machine, you don't have to get rid of it. Simply buy a reusable coffee pod filter. These are little plastic or metal cups that you can fill with your own ground coffee. You get the same one-button convenience, but you can use any coffee you want, and your cost per cup plummets back down to that 25-cent range. It's the best of both worlds. And for iced coffee and cold brew lovers, it's even easier. To make iced coffee, just brew a pot of coffee a little stronger than usual and let it cool in the fridge. For cold brew, you just combine coarse coffee grounds and cold water in a jar. Let it sit on your counter or in your fridge for 12 to 24 hours and then strain it. That's it. You can make a huge batch of concentrate that will last you all week for the price of 1 or 2 bottles of the pre-made stuff. Your morning ritual shouldn't be a drain on your savings. When you're walking past the butcher counter, those pre-marinated or pre-seasoned meats can look incredibly appealing. You'll see things like lemon herb chicken breasts, teriyaki pork tenderloins, or Cajun spiced steak tips, all ready to be thrown directly onto the grill or into a pan. It takes the guesswork and prep time out of making a flavorful meal, which is a huge selling point on a busy weeknight. But, as with all convenience items, you have to ask yourself, what is the true cost? Butchers and grocery stores add a significant premium to these pre-seasoned items. You could be paying anywhere from $1 to $3 extra per pound for that marinade. Think about what's in a typical marinade: some oil, vinegar, or citrus juice, soy sauce, and a few common spices like garlic powder, onion powder, and paprika. These are incredibly cheap ingredients that you probably already have in your pantry. You are essentially paying several extra dollars for about 25 cents worth of spices and liquids. Another reason to be wary of pre-marinated meats is that it can sometimes be a way for stores to disguise and sell meat that is approaching its expiration date. The strong flavors of the marinade can mask any subtle signs that the meat is not at its peak freshness. While this isn't always the case, buying plain, unseasoned meat gives you a much clearer picture of the quality of the product you're purchasing. You can see the color and texture clearly, without it being hidden under a thick sauce. The solution here is to create your own marinade station at home. It's not complicated. All you need are a few key ingredients to create endless flavor combinations. Stock your pantry with basics like olive oil, soy sauce, Worcestershire sauce, balsamic vinegar, lemon juice, honey, and a good selection of dried herbs and spices. These items have a long shelf life and can be used to create countless marinades for a fraction of the cost. The process is simple. When you get home from the grocery store, take 5 minutes to whip up a marinade and pour it over your chicken, pork, or beef in a zip top bag. Let it sit in the fridge for as little as 30 minutes or up to a day. That's it. You've achieved the same result as the expensive pre-marinated product, but you've saved money. You control the ingredients, especially the salt and sugar content, and you know your meat is fresh. It's a simple skill that makes you a smarter cook and a richer consumer. Let's step out of the food aisles for a moment and talk about some non-food items that are constantly draining our wallets: paper towels and specialized cleaning supplies. Paper towels are the ultimate disposable convenience item. You spill something, you grab a sheet, you wipe it up, you throw it away. Easy. But that roll of paper towels you go through every week or two adds up to a surprisingly large expense over the course of a year. You are literally throwing your money in the trash. The cost of brand-name paper towels can be significant, especially for the ultra-absorbent or quilted varieties. Even with coupons or bulk purchases, a family can easily spend $100 to $200 a year just on paper towels. And for what? A single-use piece of paper. This is a classic example of paying a premium for disposability. And it's a habit that financially savvy people have learned to break. The smart alternative is to invest in reusable cleaning cloths. A large pack of microfiber cloths costs about the same as a few rolls of premium paper towels, but they can be washed and reused hundreds of times. They are more absorbent and effective at cleaning than paper towels anyway. You can have one set for kitchen spills, another for dusting, and another for bathroom cleaning. When they're dirty, you just toss them in the laundry. This one-time purchase can virtually eliminate the need for paper towels, saving you hundreds of dollars over the next few years. This same logic applies to the endless variety of specialized cleaning supplies. There's a spray for glass, a spray for countertops, a spray for stainless steel, a spray for the bathroom. The marketing is designed to make you think you need a different chemical for every surface in your house. In reality, a few basic, inexpensive ingredients can do the job of all of them. A simple solution of white vinegar and water in a spray bottle is an excellent all-purpose cleaner and glass cleaner. A paste of baking soda and water can scrub sinks and tubs just as effectively as expensive abrasive cleaners. By ditching the disposable mindset and simplifying your cleaning arsenal, you can save a tremendous amount of money. Stop paying for water, fancy packaging, and marketing. A one-time investment in a set of microfiber cloths and a few basic ingredients like vinegar and baking soda can replace a recurring expense that slowly but surely eats away at your budget. It's better for your wallet and better for the environment. Finally, let's talk about the freezer aisle, specifically the siren song of frozen prepared meals and microwave dinners. On those nights when you're exhausted and the thought of cooking is just too much, popping a lean cuisine or a Stouffer's lasagna in the microwave seems like a lifesaver. The packaging promises a delicious, balanced meal in just 5 minutes. But this convenience is a triple threat. It's expensive, it's often unhealthy, and it's rarely as satisfying as the picture on the box. Let's look at the cost. A single-serving frozen meal can cost anywhere from $3 to $7. For a family of 4, that's $12 to $28 for one meal. You could easily cook a simple pasta dish or a meal of chicken and rice from scratch for that same price, and you'd have leftovers. When you break it down by the ounce, you're paying a huge premium for a very small amount of food. The companies are banking on you being too tired to do that math. Then there's the health aspect. To make these meals taste decent and last for months in the freezer, they are often pumped full of sodium, preservatives, and artificial ingredients. The vegetable portions are tiny, the meat quality is questionable, and the sauce is usually a mixture of starches and flavorings. While they might be portion-controlled, they are rarely a truly nutritious option. You're trading your health and your money for a few minutes of saved time. The most powerful strategy to combat the lure of the frozen dinner is batch cooking, or what I like to call making your own convenience. Instead of just cooking one meal for dinner, double or triple the recipe. If you're making chili, soup, lasagna, or a casserole, make a huge batch. Eat one portion for dinner that night, and then pack the rest into individual freezer-safe containers. Now you have your own homemade, healthy, and delicious microwave meals ready to go. When you have one of those busy nights, you can pull one of your own meals from the freezer and heat it up. It takes the same amount of time as a commercial frozen dinner, but it's a meal you actually enjoy. It's made with wholesome ingredients you chose, and it costs you a fraction of the price. By investing a little extra time on the days you do cook, you're setting your future self up for financial and culinary success. It's the ultimate way to beat the system and have convenience on your own terms. And there you have it, the 12 items that are secretly inflating your grocery bill week after week. It can feel a little overwhelming to think about changing all of these habits at once, and you don't have to. The goal here isn't perfection, it's progress. Don't try to eliminate all 12 items from your shopping list tomorrow. Instead, I want you to pick just 3 or 4 from this list that seem like the easiest changes for you to make. Maybe it's switching from pre-shredded cheese to a block, buying a reusable water filter, or making your own salad dressing this week. Remember, every single dollar you save by avoiding the convenience tax is a dollar you can put towards things that actually matter to you, paying down debt, investing for your future, or saving up for a goal. These small, consistent changes are what lead to massive savings over time. That $1,000 or $2,000 a year we talked about at the beginning is completely achievable, starting with the choices you make on your very next grocery run. You have the power to take control of this major expense. The journey to financial freedom is built on thousands of small, smart decisions, and this is one of the easiest places to start. So, I want to hear from you. Let's hold each other accountable and get this started right now. In the comments below, tell me, what's one item you're ditching from your grocery list first? By sharing your first step, you're making a commitment to yourself and inspiring others to do the same. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.